Welcome, Degens, to another edition of the Degen Docs. That is right, folks. It is NFL Week 5. We are a quarter way through the NFL season, kind of, sort of, with that 18th game there. But, hey, don't worry, folks. It's Week 5, and we are just getting started. September was a hell of a month, and we're looking to continue that momentum. That is right, folks. We are talking injury rundown. We're giving an expert injury analysis of all the latest and greatest NFL injury news. We are talking in the fantasy space, of course, who we hate and who we love this week. We are talking a Thursday night football preview. Yes, we will get that in. Best bets, breakdown of the game, props of the week, our underdog pick'em of the week, best bets, our prescription for you this week, and of course, our D-Gen parlay. That is right, folks. The NFL Week 5 betting and fantasy tips edition of the D-Gen Docs on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code SGPNDOC. Get up to a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing your college football and NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, folks, let's get into it. I am one of your hosts, the D-Gen Jock, the OG himself, and I am joined by the one, the only, Professor Locks, my brother in degeneracy, a.k.a. Mr. Derek Bennett. How are we doing tonight, brother?
We are doing wonderfully, heading into the week five of the NFL season already. It's kind of crazy that we're already in week 5. Sadly, we're already in week 6 in college football. Season's already flying by, but so far so good. We're sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, it's funny because, doesn't week 6 sound so much worse than week 5? Like, I was on a show, and they're like, NFL week 5 doesn't sound too bad, but college football week 6, I mean, there's less games, but man, I'm telling you, we need to pull that out maybe next episode. Like that weekend where we have college football playoffs and NFL wild card playoff. I mean, talk about a gambler's dream. Talk about a football fan's dream. I mean, that's going to be awesome. So, of course, before we get too far into the show, listen, folks, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate you joining us. Cheers to all you good folks at home. And don't worry, we don't discriminate. If you're just doing a little water on the rocks, that's totally fine. If you're getting bombed on a Thursday for some NFC South football, or maybe you're looking at Texas State Troy, hell yeah. Welcome to the family.
I see you've given up on bottles of whatever you've been drinking. I'm hoping that entire glass does not spill on you like the last couple of beers that you've had.
I learned my lesson. We've moved from the beers. We are now, look, I'm an athlete, all right? In honor of college baseball playoffs.
Doctor. Good for you.
Hey, look at this. I got straight Gatorade and vodka, man. I'm hydrating and dehydrating myself all at once.
Perfect.
So.
I love it.
Let's get into this shit. So, first off, NFL Week 5, bye weeks, right? We got our bye weeks. We also got guys first eligible to come off the PUP or the physically unable to perform or the short-term IR, whatever their fancy is there. So, what teams do we have on bye? Let's remind the good folks.
In week 5, we have the Chargers, the Lions, the Eagles, and the Tennessee Titans all on bye. So a few teams that definitely is time, especially the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they, it's kind of the short end of the season here, but I don't think it could have came at a better time for those folks over in Philly.
Yep. No A.J. Brown, no Devonta Smith, no Lane Johnson, and it showed on the fields as Tampa Bay. They very much helped us this weekend and took down the Eagles there. So definitely, there's your reminder, folks. Hey, if you got any of those guys in fantasy, change your shit right now. Don't say we didn't ever do anything for you. All right, let's open the show up here. I think we got a little graphic to talk about, something to reminisce here on the. Why don't you break this one down for us?
Yeah, so way back in 2021, this was thought of as a pretty good quarterback draft by some. Others were fairly questionable, but there was definitely some other guys to get as well. And turns out the first 4 picks were these fellows here on the screen: Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Kyle Pitts. So based on how they were projected coming in, how do you think these 4 have turned out?
Look, let's turn the clock back in frame of reference, right? Trevor Lawrence, T-Law, Goldilocks coming out of Clemson, generational talent, they said, right?
Yep.
Zach Wilson coming out of BYU. He can throw. He's got a cannon. Look at him in shorts and a T-shirt. Holy shit, he can roll out and throw across his body. Trey Lance, the raw prospect coming from North Dakota State. He's only played 5 games in football, but fuck it. He's the best thing since sliced bread. Kyle Pitts, I can't hate on this one.
Hey, he was gonna change the way that the tight end position was gonna be looked at. He was the up and coming guy, basically a tight end in a wide receiver's body, running a 4.4.
I'm pretty sure
he's 6'5", whatever, you know.
They were fitting him for his gold jacket as he was walking across the stage already. So
basically at the NFL Combine, he was being fitted. The guys from Canton came over to Indy, got things situated.
I mean, look, I think, all of us got into some hype, but wow, looking back on it, maybe those draft experts, those scouts that get paid all this money, maybe they don't always know what the fuck they're talking about. All right, let's go ahead. Without further ado, we're going to jump into our injury update here. So we are going to quickly go through some of the biggest injuries. Monday is usually where we go injury heavy. That's where we have an injury rundown. This is a bit more of an injury update. So if you do have specific questions on guys, now is your time to hop in the chat. First of all, say what's up. Let us know what you're drinking. But if you got specific fantasy football questions or injury questions at all, let us know. We are going to start running through this here. Why don't we start with a big one? I love my defensive side. So I'm going to start with a big one on the defense for the Carolina Panthers. In Shaq Thompson. Achilles tear, out for the season there. Also, linebacker Josie Jewell was ruled out. So that is Carolina's top 2 leading tacklers that are going to be out for this week. And obviously Thompson out for the entire season. Hard to be optimistic for Carolina.
Sure.
Where are you at with them? Are they back to being a bottom feeder?
Yeah, I mean, I think their defense is definitely still has something to be desired to begin with. Even in the last couple of weeks where they have looked better. But yeah, Shaq Thompson might be, if not definitely is, probably at least a top 2 guy on their team in general. Losing him is a huge loss. But then Josie Jewell there as well. You start to think that linebacking crew starting to look a little slim there in Carolina. I don't know if they'll necessarily go out and try to find somebody. Why
would you? Right?
Well, that's the thing. They're in the situation that may not be a bad thing if the team isn't doing too hot.
I mean, hey, they could just trade some picks and draft Bryce Young again. But
maybe they'll trade Bryce Young away for a linebacker.
For a future. There we go. I like it. All right. Enough of the Carolina Panthers. That's more than enough time talking about them. Yeah. Another team that's pretty bad that just got worse. Center David Andrews is out for the season for the New England Patriots. This is already an offensive line that has given up some of the most sacks on the season. They are on the leaderboard there in a category you do not want to be. They've given up the 2nd most sacks in the league, only other than the Cleveland Browns. So if you, like myself, are in the defensive prop market, like those sacks, definitely Miami Dolphins defense is one to target. And by the way, they don't have Jalen Phillips. So you're going to probably get some good prices because you're going to get some guys that are a little lesser known, like an Emmanuel Ogbah. Chop Robinson finally get in there. You still got Calais Campbell and Seiler there in the middle. So bad team gets worse. But I know what you're saying. Look, we don't give a fuck about those guys. Hey, we talk real football here, so deal with it. But in the fantasy space,
I don't think we've talked about any kickers and punters yet. So
that's true.
Defense, offensive line definitely makes the cut. I don't think we've switched over special teams too often.
No, not on this show. Not on this show. Not after what Graham Gano has put me through with his injuries, not injuries, shit like that. Trey McBride, a full participant today, coming off being on week 2 of his concussion. Where are we at with Trey McBride?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping big things for Trey McBride, especially going up against the Niners. They're again, linebacking crew starting to look a little slim out there in San Fran with the loss of
Trey Greenlaw.
Yes, Trey Greenlaw, as well as
Fred Warner.
There we go.
Ankle
Names
injury.
are hard, dude.
Yeah, I know. Usually it's me that you have to help out. So I'm glad I could just do you a favor this time. But yes, that leads us right into Fred Warner. star, all-world, all-everything linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers.
Absolute
He
stud.
picked up an ankle injury. And look, Fred Warner is a tough motherfucker. And he said, hey, I do not take myself out of the game unless I physically cannot go. And he said, I cannot go. That he pulled himself from the game because of the pain in his ankle. This tells me it is not likely just a mild low ankle sprain. This is either a high ankle sprain situation or a grade 2 low ankle sprain. All that to say, he hasn't practiced, and his outlook for this week is pretty pessimistic at this point, right? So, you got an opportunity there, and with the Cardinals team coming in where Fred Warner, man, he just makes so many mistakes erased. Like, he just looks so good. I know I said that wrong. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
He
takes
is that
away
quarterback
a lot
on
of
defense.
mistakes.
He cleans a lot of shit up that might be sneaking through that front four that used to be kind of a strong point for the Niners. Not so much anymore. There's a little bit less depth there. And like you said, with Greenlaw already being out for the season, it's just one of those things that he'll definitely be missed this week if he doesn't end up suiting up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Looking at some other news here, looks like Khalil Shakir, who picked up an ankle injury, got his ankle retaped, and then actually played the rest of the game. Looked decent, had that kind of 50-yard bomb that Allen threw him, cashed our over we gave out on receiving yards. So thank you for being a little bit of a warrior and get back in the game there, Shakir. But 2 DNPs in a row, has not practiced. So you're expecting, hey, even if he does play, he's definitely going to be limited. Not too uncommon that, hey, adrenaline, tape it up, you're able to play through it, and then you let that swelling kick in. Maybe not. So let's talk about a little bit about the Bills passing game. Let's say Shakir, whether he's banged up or does not play, are you targeting anyone in their passing game against the Houston Texans?
I think I would probably go Keon Coleman if I were to pick anybody, just from a sheer target standpoint, and the Florida State connection there just has to get you going a little bit. But no, I think if he doesn't go, he is that guy through the passing game. So I would probably kind of shift my betting angles more towards the running game. Who has really been the heart and soul for that Bills offense.
Yeah, especially against the Texans team that's, pretty stout against the pass and a little bit leaky against the run game. So that's maybe just another reason to load up on whether it's Josh Allen rushing, whether it's James Cook, Ray Davis anytime touchdown if they get the rookie in there like they do on the goal line. Sticking with the Bills there, some not so great news. Von Miller suspended 4 games for some of his personal conduct issues. I'm not going to get into the basically kind of being a shit bag last year. I think it was a domestic violence situation. So 4 game suspension for him.
He's been more one of those like third down specialist kind of guys. He hasn't been getting a ton of snaps to begin with. He's shown up in the spots he's been on the field. But it'll be interesting to see if they can still get that pass rush on key downs.
Yep, exactly. Not an every down guy like Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, those guys, but definitely in those pass rush situations, which he did cash a sack prop for us on when they played the Jags. So that was pretty nice. So I will take that. Brandon Cooks picked up a knee infection in his knee. He got a minor procedure done after Thursday Night Football last week against my Giants. And, is expected to probably just be a cleanup, probably be back, the next week or whatever. And then it got infected. That's obviously always a risk for anybody who gets surgery. That can happen. So he's out this week and probably a couple weeks. Sticking with the Cowboys, you got Micah Parsons dealing with a high ankle sprain, and you got Demarcus Lawrence on the IR with a midfoot sprain, expected out for 6 to 8 weeks. I'll let you talk about Micah Parsons and the high ankle sprain. He hasn't practiced, but they haven't ruled him out yet. What are you expecting, having him dealing with that high ankle sprain?
Yeah. With any high ankle sprain, a high ankle sprain is a high ankle sprain, and to because a lot of times they'll say it's a mild high ankle sprain or severe, and they're all the same for the most part. Unless things have completely been torn, they're pretty much the same. A lot more force needed to get that high ankle sprain than your traditional lower ankle sprain, which means more healing needs to take place. Usually these are at least 3-4 week kind of things, and then a couple weeks, of that performance dip that we tend to see. For a pass rusher, not quite the same as a running back or a wide receiver or a DB. they're more in the phone booth kind of a thing, but Micah Parsons is a little bit different when it comes to pass rushing. So, yeah, I definitely think he'll be limited at best if he does end up suiting.
Yeah, and that brings us right into a couple running backs here. You've got Jonathan Taylor, who picked up a mild high ankle sprain
Right.
last week. He's not practiced, not optimistic there. You've got
Right.
Joe Mixon, who picked up a high ankle sprain and came back in the game, although only for a couple snaps.
Right.
He's not practicing right now. It's hard to be optimistic about both those guys. And the same with Christian Watson, who picked up a high ankle sprain as well. So,
Yep.
I get the whole mild, like Derek was saying, the whole mild thing. Look, if you're talking about next week, the week after, look at what happened to Justin Herbert, man. He didn't look like himself. He couldn't move, and he plays quarterback, and he got re-injured. So unless, when if we're talking 2+ weeks out, okay, we're having a different conversation. But if the guy picks up a high ankle sprain in any fashion, just believe we will not be on him the next week. We almost hope that he does play because then it gives us an opportunity to cash some under.
For sure.
But,
for sure.
Look,
in those mild high ankle sprain situations, like you said, we're still expecting them to at least be limited for a week, potentially a couple weeks. And usually we'll at least see that performance dip for another week or so.
Absolutely. All right. So we talked about some concussion talk here on the show. And that brings us to Giants star wide receiver, keeper of my mental health this season, Malik Nabers.
Up until this point.
Up until this point, man.
This past week has been, a little bit nerve-wracking when it comes to Malik Nabers. We kind of expected, he hasn't played since last Thursday, a week ago. Gave himself a little bit of extra rest to get through this protocol. Usually come that Friday, Saturday timeline is when things start to really get rolling. Typically. So with those extra 3 or 4 days, should be fine. The guy hasn't practiced yet.
Yeah.
So
it's concerning. I mean, the NFL is clearly making a statement that they're going to be stricter on the concussion protocol, at least to start the season. A couple years ago, majority of players would clear within a week, definitely by 2 weeks. Now we're seeing, not many at all clearing in the same week. And then this is a situation where he had 10 days, right? Look, every concussion can be different. There are difference in symptoms, but the NFL is clearly making a statement this year, at least to start the year. They did this last year too. Start the year, they were more strict. And as the year went on, they got a little less. You saw Trevor Lawrence come back, Brock Purdy come back in a week. So,
although even last year, like in a CJ Stroud situation, I think that was like week 13, 14, something like that when he picked us up. So like you said, symptoms really control this whole thing. If things start popping up, once we start getting back into practice or just higher levels of activity, if he's on a treadmill and all of a sudden things start spinning, gets a headache, he's got to drop back down.
Yeah. The bigger, it remains the key is Thursday. If they don't have a limited practice by Thursday, it's very unlikely they play. If they do have a limited practice by Thursday, it greatly increases their chance of being able to play. So he didn't practice today. That tells you kind of what we're expecting him not to be able to play this week.
Although Dable likes to hold things close to the chest a little bit. So
yeah. So hey, we'll see, but I'm not optimistic, unfortunately. So let's talk about a couple more and let's move on here. A couple updates. Taysom Hill has rib fractures, multiple. So it's, probably unlikely that he's going to play this week. He's going to, likely be out. George Kittle not practicing with a rib injury himself. Now, George Kittle is obviously a guy who can play through a lot of things. So his hasn't been elevated to that level yet. So he's not ruled out, but just kind of one to watch for there. Let's see, a couple more updates. Cooper Kupp not going to play this week as well, kind of as expected. Anthony Richardson kind of banged up, but it looks like he returned to practice. He should be good to go. I do want to talk about 2 more before we move on. Sure. I want to talk about Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, who was put on injured reserve today, meaning he's going to miss a minimum of 4 games, and he has a specialist appointment in Dallas set up for next week. Where are we at with Rashee Rice?
Yeah, with Rashee Rice, Friendly Fire took care of Rashee Rice, at least for now. He's had some testing done. They are still continuing to do some testing. Nothing's really come out to say, yes, it's his ACL. Everybody's kind of thinking that, which in that case, he would be done for the season. But a lot of times early on, especially with major knee injuries, there's so much swelling in there that it's really kind of harder to read those MRIs. So again, still kind of waiting for swelling to go down, get some better imaging in there to see exactly what went on when Patty Mahomes took his knee out. But yeah, kind of to be determined. But for now, he's definitely out for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think in best case, you're still talking about like 2 months or 6 to 8 weeks. Best case.
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm thinking week 13, 14 probably.
I mean, I'm glad the IR happened because people are talking about him returning with a bone bruise in 2 weeks. Get the hell out of here. That's stupid. So look, on-field ACL testing is very, very good, like 98% validity. So when multiple resources said they were feared to have an ACL tear, they're usually not wrong. So whether it's a full or partial tear, even a partial tear, man, they're like, come on.
Yep.
So we're not having a lot of optimism there for Rashee Rice.
Sure.
The other guy I just want to quickly talk about is Nick Chubb return to practice. Off the pup.
So he's playing this week?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Can I take him ATD?
He's still coming off a major injury, guys. He's kind of runs into a tough situation. He's got a beat up offensive line that hasn't done shit, let up the most sacks in the NFL. They can't create holes right now. Usually a key part of that team. He's going to face a ton of stacked boxes because who the hell is afraid of Deshaun Watson throwing the ball?
Yep.
And he's coming back from a significant knee injury. Look, it is a feat that he's even returned to practice, but definitely temper your expectations with Nick Chubb. All right, we are going to move on because we've got a game to get to. So before we do that, let me tell you about what we got going over here on SGPN. SGPN has the most DGen pregame shows in the world. Saturday, the College Football Experience YouTube is live at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then on Sundays, the NFL Propcast is live on 11 a.m. Sunday, and the SGPN main flagship show at noon. Last second bets, DGen parlays, your calls, and more. Sometimes I will jump on the SGPN, give some last minute injury updates and some shit that I like. So definitely check that out. The other thing that is more important right now. So everyone is unless you've been living under a rock here, is very aware of Hurricane Helene and the damage it has caused. It's particularly been devastating to the people in Western North Carolina. So SGPN is proud to announce that we are teaming up with the local charity, mountainprojects.org, to help give back. Biggest donation will get a guest spot in the College Football Pick Show and a ton of gear. Go to mountainprojects.org and hit flood support and help out today. Look, for anyone that's been following us a little bit, like gambling for a good cause, I'm all for it, man. It especially, hey, if you've been having a good week, even if you haven't, man, just if you can't donate, just please spread awareness, to those people that can. But if you can donate, definitely help those people out. You just never know when you're going to be in a situation where no one ever thinks it's going to be them until it's them, right? Yep. So if you guys can, definitely help out there. We will have all that description in there in the show notes. All right, moving along here. Let's talk about Thursday night football.
Ooh, okay.
That's right. This game's kicking off here in just about 25 minutes or so. So let's get into it. Did I do my math right? That's probably not right. Whatever. Whatever. They never start on time. So we've got this is double check me here. But for last I saw, Tampa Bay Buccaneers catching 2.5 as road dogs, money line plus 120-ish. Atlanta laying 2.5, over under 43.5. Am I still vaguely right over there?
Yep, we're at 2.5. The line is 44, and then Bucks, you can get them on the money line at plus 120. Falcons at minus 142.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna quickly go over some injury updates for them. I will start with the Buccaneers. Look, they've ruled out 6 guys here. Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer. Both those guys play wide receiver 3 position. Palmer dealing with a concussion. He was never going to come back on a short week. McMillan out with a hamstring. Right tackle Luke Godke. I have no fucking idea. He's out with a concussion. He's been out since week 1. Obviously, we don't expect a concussion to last this long, so a little bit worrisome for some post-concussion syndrome type deal. Kalijah Cansey, Antoine Winfield have been out for several weeks. They were out again, although they seem close. So next week after the mini bye, a chance. The big new one is linebacker Servassier Dennis, a Pitt guy. He's turned into a tackling machine to replace Devin White alongside Levante David. So he's put on IR with a shoulder injury. For the Falcons side of the ball, coming in a little bit healthier. They put center Drew Dahlman on IR 2 weeks ago, so they're still looking to replace him. And then linebacker core is a bit thin. Nate Landman was the starter coming into the year. He's already on the IR. His replacement, Troy Anderson, he's out this game. Troy Anderson, who the fuck is that? Well, he's the NFC Defensive Player of the Week because he had a tipped interception return for a touchdown. He's been the leading tackler for this team. So don't be like, oh, I have no idea who Troy Anderson is and assume this isn't a big injury. It's a huge fucking injury for them.
Yep.
Other guys banged up. Right tackle Caleb McCary returns to the lineup after an MCL sprain. Still expect him to be a little limited. And Bijan Robinson, although off the injury report, picked up a hamstring injury and dealing with a shoulder injury already. I don't know. They added those for a reason. And then finally, punter Bradley Pinion dealing with neck spasms today. That can't matter. So we'll see if the punting situations go. How do you see this game going, and what are your best bets?
Yep. So I am on the Buccaneers tonight, plus 2.5. I also kind of like the under on this one, especially with division matchups. It's a short week. Both of these teams are kind of coming off of tough games last week. The Bucs obviously took care of business, but the Falcons for sure had a tough week last week with the Saints. So I kind of like the under at 45.5, like I said. As far as some props go, give me really I like Evans and Godwin, but give me Godwin anytime touchdown. And then a couple guys that I think you'll touch on as well. Give me the over 2.5 receptions for Sterling Shepard, one of your OG men, making it his way down to Tampa Bay, reuniting with Baker Mayfield. And then give me K. Dotton as well for at least 3.5 receptions.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to co-sign a lot of what you had to say there. Look, this is one of the reasons that you definitely want to follow us over on the good old X there at the Degen Doc, because I gave out a lot of these plays right when they kind of were listed. Yep. And obviously, the more you wait, the worse these lines are going to get. But obviously, we'll talk about it as we are. So I am as well. I'm going to go ahead and let's throw up the where is he at here? Let's throw up the John Hancock there, because I'm going to co-sign a lot of what you're saying there. I'm on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. Give me the 2.5. Give me the plus 120 on the money line. Let's look at these two teams here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are sitting at 3-1 atop the division. I believe they're a legit 3-1, as in they went and beat the Commanders at home. Look, everyone thought, who the fuck cares? It's the Commanders. How about now? How about that Commanders team now, right?
And they followed it up with a rematch of the playoffs last year
on the road. On the road in Detroit. Gave them
Lions have the best offensive line in football. Holy smokes. Wait, the Falcons are supposed to have a good offensive line. Let's see what that
only loss of the season. They did follow it up with a stinker at home to Denver, who has one of the best defenses in the league. Yep. And then they just went and beat the shit out of the Eagles, who most people consider a playoff contender. Now on the Falcons side, they're 2-2. Their 2 wins came off a Saquon Barkley drop that led directly to Kirk Cousins on one leg, leading him down the field and going through that Swiss cheese defense of the Eagles. Yep. And then last week, they needed a muffed punt for a touchdown and a tipped interception return for a touchdown. They scored 0 offensive touchdowns and still scored 26 points and got the Youngwoo Koo. God, I butchered that. I'm sorry. That's alcohol. The Koo long field goal for the win. So I think they're a little counterfeit. Give me the Bucs to take care of business, even on the road, even with those injuries. On the prop market, I'm going to go with Tyler Algier over 40.5 rush yards at plus 110. I love Tyler Algier here. Both these defenses are very similar. Good against the pass, not so good against the rush, giving up a decent amount of yards per carry. Bijan Robinson dealing with a little bit of injury, dealing with a little bit of Arthur Smith, Raheem Morris syndrome, where they just like the other guy right now. So I'm going to ride that hand. On the defensive side for them, I like D. Alford over 4.5 tackles at plus 105. He's the 4th leading tackler on this team. He plays the nickel position. He sticks his head in the run game, and the Bucs love to throw the ball. So he's going to have plenty of opportunities for tackles. On the Bucs side of things, give me, like you said, I like K. Dotton over 35.5 receiving yards at plus 120. I went with the yards there. Sterling Shepard, 25 plus yards at plus 110. Situation where, hey, all the attention is going to be on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They're middle of the field. They're down 2 linebackers from the start of the season. They're picking guys up off the street. Middle of the field is going to be open.
And the Falcons have one of the worst pass rushes in the game. So Baker's going to have some time back there.
Exactly. And then a little bit with game script, a little bit zigging from the zag. Everybody's on Bucky Irving today. Give me Rachaad White over 9.5 rush attempts at plus 115. He's still the RB1 there. And as much as I don't love to see
off his best game of the year,
listen, I think you're going to still feed him. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to completely throw him out of the equation.
Sure.
So those are the plays, folks. We are both on the Bucks, and we hope you tail because that game's kicking off here in about 15 minutes. So let's continue on here and head to the fantasy space, and let's talk about our love-hate this week. My friend, which one would you like to take?
Give me the love this week. I'll take the love.
Right.
So, Justin Fields put up some good numbers last week, but he's going up against a Dallas defense that, like we said earlier, beat the hell up. Dallas has already given up a shit ton of yards to other opposing quarterbacks. So give me Justin Fields to have another day. Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. I don't see how he doesn't end up putting up some numbers here. And then DK. This one's a little bit tricky. But with DK, I'm completely
New York Giants.
The Giants. Hey, the Giants.
I very much know they suck.
Yes, the Giants. Their secondary is trash. And
they got two guys who were out last week.
They're beat to hell up in the secondary. And DK is just one of those big physical receivers that is going to manhandle a guy like Banks over there. So give me DK to have a day as well.
Yeah, that's painful, but I definitely agree with you on that one. Yep, painful to hear, but absolutely agree that they might have a field day there. All right, for the hate side, we're going to bring Mr. Scrooge into play here, and we're going to talk about QB Jayden Daniels, the guy who people are talking about as MVP and everything like that. And look, Derek and I are Jayden Daniels guys. Derek gave out Jayden Daniels at 5-1 offensive rookie of the year to start the season. So look, this is a situation where the Cleveland Browns, they're going to figure it out at some point, right? They've got to. So I think that Jayden Daniels has had the advantage of playing a lot of bad defenses. He's played the Giants. He's played the Cardinals, right? He's had the advantage of going up against really poor defenses weeks in a row, and he's still a rookie quarterback, guys. I think that the Cleveland Browns they're getting healthier on defense, and they're still a good defense. He's likely going to be missing Brian Robinson in that backfield, and Noah Brown is dealing with an injury. So this situation where I think the rookie comes back down to earth a little bit. So we're going to be fading Jayden Daniels there. Also a game that's probably going to be a very ugly game, not a lot of points. Breece Hall, man, I loved him coming in the year. A lot of people did. Braylon Allen is clearly becoming a guy for that Jets team. The Vikings rush defense is one of the best in the league, and their pass defense is one of the worst. So this is not really a fate of the Jets, as I'll get to later, but this is more if the Jets have success, we believe it's going to be through the air, not on the ground. And then finally, Cincinnati running backs. Baltimore has one of the best rush defenses in the league, one of the worst pass defenses. Kind of very similar to what we just broke down with Breece Hall there. A situation where we're not on Chase Brown or Zach Moss this week. Really think that Burrow and the boys are just going to be throwing about 40, 50 times a game, and I can see that being a high-scoring affair. So we are fading Jayden Daniels, Breece Hall, and the Cincinnati backfield this week. All right, let's get into some actionable information. That's right, we're talking bets, and we are talking our NFL Week 5 props of the week. My friend, let's have you start us off.
Sounds good. I will take Aaron Jones to have at least 70 yards on the ground. Going up against the Jets, I think the Jets and really the Vikings are going to have enough time in the air getting across the pond. So give me Aaron Jones on the ground at over 70 yards. He's already hit this number at least 3 out of the 4 weeks. And the Jets are giving up over 125 yards a game on the ground. So I think he has a pretty good day.
Yeah.
T. Higgins to get in the end zone somehow. The last time T. Higgins was on the field against the Ravens, he scored 2 touchdowns. The Ravens have a bottom 4 pass defense in the league thus far. And, T. Higgins is now a couple weeks off of that hamstring injury that he was dealing with earlier in the season. So he's getting back into the offense. He had, I think, 10 targets last week. I think he finally finds the end zone. And then Marvin Harrison, over 60 yards up against the 49ers. We talked about the Niners defense missing a few pieces there. I really think this turns into a shootout, and Marvin Harrison is that dude. out wide for Kyler. So give me Marvin Harrison over 60 yards at plus money.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. My NFL Week 5 props of the week. I'm going Mike Williams, man. I've told y'all about him in the offseason. Look, he was on the Brees Hall program. He's going to be limited, snap count those first 4 weeks. And then week 4 and beyond, he's going to unleash the beast. He had his best game last week with over 60 yards. We talked about it. Minnesota Vikings, one of the worst pass defenses in the league. Give me Mike Williams, 40-plus receiving yards at plus 130. Noah Brown, under 25.5 receiving yards, plus 135. Cleveland Browns, like we said, we like them this week. We like that defense. We like them to kind of mess with the rookie a little bit, kind of clamp down. I think it's going to be an ugly game. And I think he's kind of getting phased out a little bit. Also dealing with a groin injury. So I think if he does play, he's going to be a bit limited.
Yep.
And then Josh Jacobs, 70-plus receiving yards at plus 125. The Los Angeles Rams are awful, absolutely miserable at stopping the run. They cannot stop anything. The Chicago Bears rushing offense was atrocious, was a disgrace to the game of football, and they let DeAndre Swift run up and down the field on them. Now we have a Green Bay Packers team that can actually run the ball. Their 2 wins this season, they came basically not throwing the forward pass. So Josh Jacobs is going to eat this game. Give me 70-plus rushing yards, at plus 125.
Hey, are you feeling okay? I don't see any defensive props on your sheet this week.
Yeah, look, man, fuck. They need to release these defensive props better. I love my defense. Definitely a good reason, again, to follow us on social because I will be putting out defensive plays. If you have not bet a defensive prop this season, just join the prop. Look, start with D. Alford over 4.5 tackles tonight, where every time he sticks his little head in there, we're going to get juiced up. I'm telling you, it's a different way to live. You got to join us there. Look, I'm pissed that they don't have this defensive stuff up yet. But look, I'll for the good of the show, I'll keep it fucking moving. All right, talking about Underdog Fantasy. That's right, we are huge fans of Underdog Fantasy here on the Degen Docs. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menu of all of sports. Look, you got WNBA playoffs, you got MLB playoffs, you got the MMA, all those things that I've kind of forgotten about now that football started. But of course, you got the main ship, you got NFL and college football. The lobby is jam-packed with profit booths. And use our promo code SGPNDOC. That's SGPNDOC, all caps, all one word, to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000. And that brings us into our Underdog Pick'em of the week. All right, why don't you give out 2 first, and then I will wrap us up there.
Let's do it. I will take the 2 guys in the middle. So give me Amari Cooper at over or higher than 50.5 receiving yards. He is the Browns offense up to this point. So I really think that the Browns offense will finally start getting something going up against Washington that definitely is a little bit leaky from a receiving or from a passing game standpoint. And give me Joe Burrow higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I already threw out T. Higgins, ATD, so I expect him to get in the end zone. But, Jamar Chase has been a touchdown machine. Does he throw it over to Mike Gesicki? Does he get it to Yosivas or whatever, however you say that name? Joe Burrow, yeah, that's right. In the AFC North, these games tend to be pretty tight. And that's one of the reasons why, later on I'll share my picks. But I think this game's going to be close. I think it's going to be fairly high scoring. And I think Joe Burrow is going to be the star that he is and throw it out to somebody a couple times to get in the end zone.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, definitely you are high on Joe Burrow in that Cincinnati offense this week. All right. So to wrap us up here, Justin Fields. Not only is he playing a very high level of football, but he's going up against the Dallas defense. No DeMarcus Lawrence, no Micah Parsons. So whether on the ground or through the air, he's going to have time to throw. And Cordell Patterson, Jalen Warren not practicing this week. It's likely going to be him and Najee back there alone. So he might need to use his legs a little bit more. And he can torch this Dallas defense. So give me Justin Fields higher than 238.5 pass and rush yards. And then Kareem Hunt. The rookie Carson Steele, as much as we love him here at SGPN, he's in the doghouse. He's in the Andy Reid doghouse 100%. Kareem Hunt has came in. They are just lost Rashee Rice. They obviously are out Hollywood Brown. We think they play good defense, run the ball, and it's basically RB1 for a good offense to score a touchdown. So give me Kareem Hunt higher than half a rush receiving touchdown and a spicy little play there. So that is Justin Fields, higher, 238.5 pass rush yards. Amari Cooper, higher, 50.5 receiving yards. Joe Burrow, higher, 1.5 pass touchdowns. And Kareem Hunt, higher, half a rush receiving touchdown. That pays 13.8 to 1. $10 wins you 138. All right, folks, that is our underdog pick'em of the week.
Love it.
Uh-oh. What is this? Uh-oh. Look, folks, we've got a special contest. That is right. And you are the first to hear about this contest if you are here live with us right now. As a new channel, of course, what we're trying to do, we're trying to increase our outreach. We're trying to help more people win some money and listen to our dumbasses talk about football. So what we're doing here is a contest. It's the road to 100 subscribers. And it's pretty simple. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you take a screenshot and you submit proof, you add your email and your username, then you will be entered for a $100 SGPN gift card. That is right. The big bosses were nice enough to let us do 100 smackaroos. Look, man, they've got a bunch of good merch. I'm wearing, I'll do a little, if you like a little over-under, they've got a bunch of good-ass, cool-ass shit. Our guy, Jake, the merch god, he's got something for everything. So if you want to be a little bit more of a part of the SGPN family, if you want to help us get out there, subscribe. Takes 2 seconds to subscribe. We dropped in the comments. We have the link there. All you got to do is subscribe, take a screenshot, add that into the Google form, and boom, you are entered to win a shot at 100 free SGPN dollars. Look, we're giving over here at SGPN. That's what we do. We're trying to give away money. So definitely, this won't be the last time you hear about it. But once we hit 100, we are making the drawing. So subscribe now, get in your submission, and you could be the lucky winner. All right. We are. Oh, I'm up first. Okay. Here we go. We are going with our week 5 best bets. This is
the like this week, Seb?
I feel great about this week. I feel fucking awesome about this week. So
I hope so. After a down week for you last week, the 2 weeks prior, you were seeing the board pretty well. Last week, not so much, but I agree. I think we're seeing the board better this week.
Cleared all that bullshit mojo out. I'm fucking hydrated. Look at all this shit I'm drinking right now.
There we go.
I'm hydrated. I'm ready to fucking go. All right. First best bet of the week. Cleveland, Washington, under 43.5, minus 110 there. Look, we talked about Jaden Daniels. Everyone's talking him up. Nick Saban would say, a bunch of rat poison is getting into his ears. That's all he's hearing. He's the best quarterback, MVP, blah, blah, blah. Not so fast. He's played a terrible, terrible series of defense, whether it's Arizona, it's New York Giants. Ever since that Bucs game, he's been very fortunate. Cleveland Browns, they've got a pass rush, and they've got a good secondary, and they can't score. So it's a perfect combination. We're going to slow down that high-powered Washington offense, and Cleveland can't do a damn thing on their own. So we're going to go under 43.5 there. Pittsburgh Steelers, minus 2.5. Oh, surprise. The Steelers are on my lock list again. Well, they're 3-1 ATS. What the fuck do you want me to say? And I love them this week. Dallas beat up. No DeMarcus Lawrence. No Micah Parsons. No Brandon Cooks. Where do you see an advantage on this team? Right now, I'm taking Justin Fields over Dak Prescott. Yeah, I said it. Look, I hate the Cowgirls, but Justin Fields is playing at a high level. Dallas Cowboys are one of the worst teams stopping the run. And you've got Najee Harris, you've got Arthur Smith, and you've got Justin Fields rushing the ball. Look, I love the fact that Dallas is going to sit back and think they can throw the ball 40 times. They're one of the worst rush offenses in the league. TJ Watt is licking his chops to go against this mangled offensive line. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 2.5 there. This one's a little bit of an ugly one. A little bit of close your eyes and just press the damn button. It's the Arizona Cardinals plus 7.5. It's a divisional rivalry game going against the San Francisco 49ers. Kyler plays the 49ers very well. I want to let you know how important Fred Warner is to this defense. Again, no Dre Greenlaw. You got Hufanga in the back still working off his ACL. If Fred Warner misses, and he hasn't practiced for the first 2 weeks, so at the first 2 practices, he's going to be very limited if he does play. That's a huge loss. A huge loss. You got Trey McBride coming back for the Arizona Cardinals. I like them to keep it close. I'm not going to take them on the money line, but I do like them to keep it within a touchdown. And we've talked about NFL spreads. Big dogs this year have been covering at a crazy pace. And then finally, give me the New York Football Jets on the money line in London, plus 124 to take down their old quarterback, to have Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again over in London at a sleepy 9:30 on the Eastern side. Look, Minnesota Vikings are a good team. I definitely think that, but the Jets got a little bit embarrassed losing to the Broncos last week. I think they pick it up. I think that they're able to get this done over across the pond there. I think Mike Williams, look, the Minnesota Vikings have the worst pass defense in the league. I think Aaron Rodgers has himself a game. I think Sam Darnold with some of the pressure, with Sauce Gardner on Justin Jefferson, I think that this kind of, let's be honest, the Minnesota Vikings were not projected to be a very good team this year. I think they are a good team, but I don't think they're world beaters just yet. So give me the Jets on the money line at plus 124. All right, my friend, your turn.
So you got to flip me over.
You're there.
Huh?
Are you fucking blind?
Okay, never mind. Just kidding. Okay, cool. Anyways, so let's talk about that game that you were just talking about, the Jets Vikings. I am on the other side. This is the first time this has happened with our best bets that we are
lock battle,
opposite
baby.
sides. But Minnesota at -2.5. One, Minnesota's played a hell of a first quarter of the season so far. Their defense is flying around, making all kinds of plays. I think Sam Darnold is going to kind of step up and show the Jets, hey, you passed up on me. Obviously, it took me a little bit of time to get things figured out here, but the Vikings are playing very, very well. And I think just from a team organization standpoint, flying across the pond, definitely a different time zone, different schedule than they're used to playing. Minnesota's got things rolling up there. And the New York Jets are still the New York Jets at the end of the day. So give me the Minnesota Vikings in that one. Jumping back up to the Cincinnati Bengals on the money line. This is a little bit of a surprise for a lot of people, most likely. But going up against the Ravens, the Bengals, I think, match up with them pretty damn well. The Ravens are one of the worst passing defenses in the league thus far, and the Bengals want to throw the ball, right? Joe Burrow might draw back and throw the ball 50 times this week. I'm kind of expecting that. And, just based on, knowing the AFC North, being a Steelers fan, I know these teams fairly well. All of these matchups between the AFC North tend to be 3-point games, 2-point games. And something's just telling me everybody's so high on the Ravens right now. Give me the Bengals on the money line at plus 110. The Cleveland Browns, shifting gears a little bit to the other Ohio team. I don't know where I'm, coming from, but give me the Browns at plus 3.5. Again, Washington Commanders have been playing very, very well, but they haven't come up to a defense like the Browns have. I think they step up here in a pretty tight spot. Deshaun Watson, we know that offense has been struggling. The offensive line has been beat to hell up. I think they start getting things rolling a little bit. I think Njoku comes back and gives them a little bit of a spark in the passing game. So give me the Brownies at 3.5. And then the New England Patriots, basically a pick 'em here against the Miami Dolphins. We've seen the Miami Dolphins over the last couple of weeks. Holy smokes, are they bad? Right?
Watch.
And it's one of those things that, now bye weeks are starting to come. What are the Miami Dolphins looking forward to? A bye week, and they're in a much needed spot there. So give me the Patriots at home in another division game. Again, probably going to be a fairly close game. I think the Patriots can sneak it out. And at this point, give me Brissett over anybody that Miami's going to roll out there at quarterback.
You never thought you'd make that statement, man.
I know.
That's a crazy statement to think of before the year.
I know.
All right. Those are our best bets for NFL Week 5. That is our prescription for you this week. All right. We got a couple sponsors to tell you about in our DGen parlay, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. So first, we got to tell you about Rhythm. That is right. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Look, folks, these are our model guys. That is right. You can tell the wife, look, I got a couple models on my phone right here. Absolutely do not tell your wife. That's a terrible idea. That's the alcohol drinking. So Look, I think one of the coolest things that Rhythm does is that they break that wall. I talk about it every week. They bring the ability for you to say, hey, I got my own model. Hey, I don't have to go pay X amount of dollars for some, phony to tell me this model.
Don't pay for models. That's
you,
usually a sign that you're going down the wrong path.
Unless you're in Reno, Nevada, do not pay for models. Yes. So yes, Rhythm, definitely. And the cool thing here is you can either build your own model or you can just take one of the models that they give you there. So tame your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And of course, we're going to tell you about our friends over at BetUS. That's right. We're brought to you by BetUS, the best in the business for 30 years. Easy deposit with cryptocurrency and lightning fast payouts. US players are always welcome. Sign up and deposit $100 and you have a chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. That's pretty not bad. Rolling down the street with one of that bad boys. That's nice. Use our link today and sign up with to get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. All right, folks. The ad reads are starting to blur. So let's go ahead and get to the Degen Parlay and get the hell out of here. So you are up first.
So I actually just mentioned one of these guys, and David Njoku. Give me him to score. Tank Bigsby down in Jacksonville. Travis Etienne's a little bit beat up, so I think Bigsby has shown that he can get the job done. Give me Bigsby to score, and then Harrison Bryant out there in Las Vegas. Basically, the Raiders' offense is a shell of what we expected it to be. Zamir White sucks. Devontae Adams is probably going to be on the move. Michael Mayer is dealing with some sort of family thing, I guess, going on. So, it's basically Brock Bowers and yes, that. So they do run a lot of 2 tight end sets. So give me Harrison Bryant to get in there at a little over 112 to 1.
Only 112. My goodness, you've turned conservative on me, my friend.
I know.
Yes, that's why it's Degen's only first. Because when we hit one of these, we're gonna be partying like it is 1960 with that Ford Mustang. All right. We are going to my Degen's parlay, only parlay, and look, it's got a little bit of a familiar face there. Tank Bigsby. We're both on Tank Bigsby this week. We like the Tank Bigsby angle. Travis Etienne is dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. I like Bigsby to finally get in the end zone. He's been a productive back. Braylon Allen, we're going with RB2. It's kind of the RB2, a little bit of a parlay here. We talked about Breece Hall, how he might be limited there. They really like Braylon Allen, whether it's in the red zone or through the receiving game. He's the bigger back. Austin Eckler, again, he's going to be the RB1 likely with Brian Robinson missing 2 straight days of practice. He's full practice from his concussion. I like him there. And then Justin Fields. Justin Fields. Can't get enough of Justin Fields this week. So all 4 of those guys, 4 guys to reach the endo, and we're bringing home a nice, cool 82 to 1. All right, JP, just because we're nice, we will answer this question, then we're going to get the hell out of here. Trade CD for CMC, Dak, and Addison in fantasy. What is your quick gut reaction?
My guess is that's DK Metcalf, not Dak.
Did I say Dak? My bad. DK.
I would not be trading CD for CMC, DK, and Addison, mainly because I don't expect CMC to do much this season with the bilateral Achilles thing going on. Obviously, it kind of depends on how short-sighted your wide receiver room is. If you need 2 guys, DK and Addison might be better, but CD is still a dude.
There you go. That is the response there. So that is how we're going to play it, folks. So appreciate you stopping by, JP. Definitely 7:15 Monday and Monday and Thursdays. Come see us, and we will answer all your questions then. But we got to get the hell out of here because we got to watch this game tonight. So, you got anything for the good people before we get out of here?
Nope. As usual, share, like, follow, all the things on the screen there. X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Hey, and submit your subscriptions to the contest. Link in the comments.
That is right, folks. We're going to be blasting this out, but you get the first chance at being one of those, less than 100, 200. Once we hit 100 subscribers, we are doing the randomizer, and we are picking someone from that lot. So get in, subscribe now, and get your chance at a $100 SGPN gift card. All right, folks, from both of us here at the Degen Docs, we hope that if you're tailing our picks, good luck to you. And you know what they say, folks. A lock a day keeps the bookie away. And here at the Degen Docs, we've got your prescription. From the Degen Docs and NFL Week 5, we are out of
Let it
here.
ride.
What's up, Degens? Doc here. As a proud member of the U.S. Army and a lover of football, sometimes those two things cross over on here. But as you probably already know, as a lowly captain, these are just my opinions. These are not opinions that are representative of the entire DoD or the U.S. Army. The same thing goes for any references to any commercial products or hyperlinks. Again, that does not constitute an endorsement from the DoD or the Army. I hope you enjoyed the show, and as always, let it ride, baby.